My name is Guido Dennert. I'm trying to first get my slide on, which is this button. Yeah. I'm heading up a solutions engineering team. Very proud of this team, and we run all the technical things in the telco environment. And with this job, we also come up with additions, product additions, new ways of selling things, and so on. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit, because all what I heard this morning, all of that fits to what we do. So it makes sense. It makes so much sense, and I will show you. But before I start, I want to share some little anecdote of my life, and you will be laughing about this, but this was very interesting. So many years ago, I was studying computer science, and my then professor told me a lot about protocols. Yeah, there were WAN protocols, there were LAN protocols. So I learned about X25 and frame relay, and I don't know, some people might be here who heard that names before. And of course, Ethernet also came on the table. And at the end of the sessions, we were able to ask questions. So I asked, Ethernet is so simple as a protocol. It's easy to use. You can have a lot of, it's a layer 2, so you can have a lot of layer 3 and above protocols running over it. Why don't we use Ethernet in the WAN? He stood up, was shouting at me in front of the whole auditorium if I have at all listened in the last 2 hours to what he was saying and if I was completely wrong. It's fun, huh? What are we talking about here all the time, right? So for me, that was like a very embarrassing moment, but I always thought it isn't possible right now, but there's chances to do it. Well, we need to understand the man, but because at this time, it's very long ago, if you were running Ethernet in a LAN, you couldn't even have all the features that your hardware vendors gave you use if you had different vendors. So you needed at this time to stick with your vendor to have all the features enabled. Yeah, and then came, of course, what the then MEF did, right? All the certifications, all the alignment and so on, and that's when I followed ever since what MEF, now Mplify, did. And that helped us to get there where I wanted to be already when studying. Yeah, and this is, I don't need to go into details, you all know about it, but this helped us to be there where we, to get there where we are today, to have carrier Ethernet and to, develop it alongside with other protocols as a layer above and to have all this AI. So how did Equinix play the game? When I joined them back in 2018, the only thing we did is, and that was very modern at this time already, and that's one of the reasons why I joined them, by the way. We had that fabric established, and the fabric enabled all of our customers by using an API or going over our portal to connect to public cloud providers. They were co-located at our sites, most of them, or at least we had an on-ramp. And with that feature, we were able to connect, or our customers were able to connect directly with omitting the internet, having good quality of a service, and of course, less costs if it comes to egress. Then we decided, and that was like the cleverest move ever, to connect all of our sites with each other, because this product only worked within one region. There was no connection. So all of the data centers that we had were connected, and we built a big backbone. And additional to connecting to the cloud service providers, we also allowed to connect every user, let's call it every rack, with every rack. The rack can be part of a public cloud provider. It can be a carrier. It can be an enterprise company, whatever. And with that, we didn't stop. Last year, we came up with a product that was called Last Mile as a Service. The idea was then to connect carriers and resell their last miles for all of our customers. You see where this is going, right? So this is pretty easy. So there is an API, and with the portal, as an Equinix customer, you can book whatever city you are in, the last mile to a building, to an enterprise, or even to another data center that's not Equinix, and use this. Of course, this is very hands-on, and we have built a very big relationship with one of the carriers. I'm not going to mention the name here, where we white labeled this product and sold the last mile and enabled this carrier to resell our fabric connectivity globally under their name. So we had to build, a translation between APIs. This took us 1 year. Yeah, it was all manual, right? And at the end, it still works. They still resell it. You wouldn't recognize. You buy a service, an Ethernet service from this carrier, and you get it end to end. No problem at all. But it's slow and it's not easy to amend. So what needs to come? I mean, we talked about the whole time, right? The idea is to have more carriers on both sides and to add an additional layer. All that manual translations between APIs doesn't work. You need AI for this, right? You need to have the possibility to have the minimal set of products that can be used end-to-end, quality sessions like quality features like .1Q or Q&Q, whatever you need to have, the bandwidth, the SLAs coming with it, if the site is single or dual connected, and so on. All this information needs to be gathered from every carrier in that's part of this and shared between each other. So networks can be calculated. So what we wanted to do is to go from, connecting on a single way, yeah, like we did with the own phone operators, to automate this. So this is my idea of how it looks like. This is how AI looks like, by the way. AI was drawing himself or itself this drawing. So the idea is now to have MCPs, Model Context Protocol servers, as well as in Equinix, as with all of the participating providers. So we are able to deliver end-to-end connectivity from A to B to C. To build a global, very, very big network, and if it says here provider B, this can be more, of course. I will show a slide later. So the idea is really to connect all of them with each other and using AI agents to do the heavy lifting, to find out all these informations. And if you take a look at this backbone, that's actually the backbone that Equinix operates. We have 280 sites globally where we can hand over services. So imagine it, each of this site, there would be a local carrier connected. That's the vision, right? All of those carriers connected, and if you want to build a connectivity, a network, from anywhere to anywhere, you can make use of all of this. So there's one sentence I want to say. Hey, ChatGPT, I uploaded you an RFP. Please give me all the answers. And this is the vision where we are going to. We started building that. We are, at the moment, onboarding our first partner, one senior partner to start with. And then we will go and ask a lot of carriers out there. All of you, everyone's invited, yeah, to connect to this, to build this big, big network, to allow additional routes, to allow footprints where those carriers don't operate, and so on and so on. AI makes it possible, and this is the dream with Equinix in the middle as the glue. So we don't want to, own those sites or anything like that. The only interest we have is connecting our customers and adding additional value to it. And that's where we go up to, and that's what I wanted to present today.